My name is Kyle and I am the head coach at ETC and I've been here for 5 years now. So my perspective on mental health. I think I'm in quite a unique position in that I'm in like a position of authority in some people's lives as a coach and as someone that people come to for answers to questions that they might have. And we coach quite a lot of women, but also our kind of demographic of men is now increasing because we originally used to be a women's only gym and that kind of was reflected in, but now our population is kind of like 60-40 women to men now. So we're getting a much bigger portion of men coming through the gym, which is really cool. But throughout the years, I guess like I've kind of seen a change in terms of mental health and how people see it and how people view it and how it's now becoming more important for people to talk about. Like 10, 15 years ago, it wasn't as spoken about, I don't think, as it is now, which I think is excellent. I think it's now a much more open conversation that people can have. And people are much more willing to talk about their own issues, whereas 10, 15 years ago, it probably wasn't as easy or as common for people to talk about their own mental health and other people's mental health. It was a little bit of a taboo subject. So I've kind of seen that, and through my years of coaching, it's kind of become a topic that we actually encounter a little bit more frequently. So it's definitely come a bit more to the forefront of people's awareness and people having those conversations, which I think is really good. But it does mean that we now have to be a little bit more prepared for those conversations, whereas before it was, and coaching is quite unique because like we're not just coaching people through fitness, we're coaching people through lifestyle, nutrition, and mental health plays a role in people's well-being. So coaching people through well-being, it now has to be something that we have conversations around, and it's happening more and more frequently. Yeah, do you know what, that's a really good question. I think, and I'm speaking from the environment that we coach people in, is I think there's kind of a unique benefit to training and also to training in a community that we run. I think training itself is amazing for people's mental health, men, women, like anyone who struggles with their mental health. It can be an outlet, it can be something to focus on, it can be a way of them having some kind of time away from the stress and struggles of life, essentially. It's a good kind of thing to focus on and keep you motivated and keep you doing something that isn't just worrying or stressing. It actually is, I mean, going into the science of it, it releases dopamine, it releases endorphins, it actually is a stress reliever in itself. So training itself is quite potent at making you feel better about yourself. Just by going in the act of training and working out is an amazing stress reliever in itself. But I think the unique thing that we offer is having a community where people can train and a space away from work or home that is not going to create stress. It's going to create a feeling of community, a sense of belonging. You're doing something good for yourself. You're benefiting your health. You're benefiting your strength, your fitness, which is going to ultimately compound over time to make you feel and look and have a sense of belonging to something. I think that like training at ETC is completely different in that regard because people are happy to see you when you come in. Whereas you go to work, you might have a job you hate, you might have a stressful home life, like family issues, but you come to ETC and there's always someone there that's happy to see, whether that's the coaches or the other members. Like it's a really inclusive place that people are happy to come to because they see people that they like, and that in itself is quite powerful, I think. And I think we've done a really good job of cultivating that and not just focusing on, as you said, the training and what we're doing in terms of what we look like, but actually creating a place where people can feel really happy and content and an hour away from the stresses that they might have in their external life. But I think it's really important having a space away from work and home. Like if it's a gym, if it's like it doesn't have to be a gym, it could be anything, but like having that third space where you can go and de-stress and decompress and do something that you enjoy, like it could be a hobby, it could be anything, but like people have found belonging and community through the gym, and I think that's amazing. I think everyone should have that. Like, it doesn't have to be a gym itself, but it could be anything, but somewhere where people can go that isn't going to create more stress for them. It's something they enjoy that takes time away from work and home life. In terms of supporting mental health, I think be it like maybe just supporting and being like a role model for people and being vulnerable yourself and being able to talk about your own mental health issues can inspire other people to do the same. Because I think like a problem shared is a problem halved, right? So just by speaking about the issues you might be having can often be all that someone needs to feel better about the issues that they are having. Like realizing that people aren't just suffering through something on their own. There are other people that have similar issues and similar stresses. It's the same with training, right? We see a lot of the same problems that people have. Like a problem, like people want to lose weight, they want to feel better, they want to do this, but it's all the same issues, just in different degrees. And understanding that other people are going through that can actually make you feel better about the issues that you're having yourself. So I think being role models and talking about it and trying to lead from the front is the best way that we can help support people. And then being able to listen to when people say, oh, you know, I'm struggling with this. I think being there and just having that conversation with people is sometimes all the people need. So I'm gonna murder this saying, but there's a saying, right? And it's like, action comes before motivation. So sometimes you might be struggling to feel motivated to take the first steps to go and train, or to step into a gym, or to find some activity that you enjoy that gets you moving and actually is good for your health. Taking action is the first step to feeling motivated to do that thing. So it might be hard to think, oh, I'm just gonna get up and go and do it, but like the action of doing something in itself can create momentum, it can create motivation. So as easy as it might be to say and hard to do, it's like, go out and do something. It doesn't have to be anything big. It could be getting out for a walk. It could be literally, right, I'm gonna put my shoes on, and if I feel good after I put my shoes on, I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna go for a 5-minute walk. You get to the end of 5 minutes, cool. Can I go for 10 minutes? Yeah, great. And it's like those small actions compound to create motivation to continue doing the thing. When you've been for a walk, or when you've been for your first training session, or you've been for your first easy run, it's like, cool, it's so much easier to then do your second one, or do your third one, or find something else, or maybe go for a bit longer. It's like the action of doing something can help create motivation to continue doing that thing. So like when people come to us, they're like, I haven't been to the gym for 10 years. I feel useless, I'm lazy, like I don't feel motivated to do this. It's like, cool, the hardest thing you've got to do is step through the door. Once you're in, once you've started, that momentum will continue to evolve and that motivation will continue to grow. But getting in the door and doing that first session is the most important step to take. Marathon runners don't just run marathons straight away. They start with a kilometer, then they do 2 kilometers, 3 kilometers, 4, 5, 6, and it builds. It's like you don't just jump straight into the deep end. You take those small steps to build yourself up to that. So I think a lot of people expect to just start and be good straight away. It's like you've got to be comfortable not being amazing at the thing straight away, and doing it so often and so frequently and making it part of your life that it just becomes subconscious. You don't have to think about the motivation required to do it. So obviously it will be a challenge. And I did something not similar, but I climbed Kilimanjaro last year myself, right? Which was hard as nails. And I think there was an end goal in sight. And that was kind of what kept me going, is like looking to where I would be in a day or two, looking to where I would be in a week. Like it took us 10 days to do it, but I kept thinking about like the feeling of success of completing it and working backwards from the finish to where I was right now, and seeing what it was going to take and how I was going to get there. And the challenge itself kept me going. Like I liked the difficulty of getting up to the next camp and moving on to the next thing, and finding kind of small wins. And like, because we had little checkpoints we were getting to, it was like looking at each checkpoint as like a completion of that day. And it was like small wins that ultimately compounded to finishing the climb, which kind of kept me going. But I mean, for you, I think like finding enjoyment in the challenge, I think would be what I say to try and do. Like try and look at finding the joy in what you're doing, and looking at the achievement that you're doing, and looking at the fact that you've got the opportunity to do this and not many other people will. Like finding enjoyment in that, I think is going to be really important. It's like not many people are going to get the opportunity to do something like this. So it's a challenge in itself, yeah, but it's like how lucky you are to be able to do this and help promote mental health and help other people feel that they could maybe take on challenges like this I think is amazing. So I use training as a form of self-improvement, but also as a form of stress relief. I find picking heavy things up and putting them back down again makes you feel good about yourself. It doesn't matter what the exercise is. It could be a deadlift, it could be a squat. Like showing to yourself that you can do something hard and do something that challenges you and your body and your mind, and like being able to believe in yourself enough to do it can show you that you're actually stronger than you think. And I've lifted for probably like 12 to 13 years now, and I used to do it to look good, but now I do it as a form of like proving to myself that I can do certain things and showing myself that I'm strong enough to actually lift that weight or pick that thing up or deadlift that weight off the floor. And I like the challenge of trying to beat what I was doing previously and show myself that I'm stronger than I was last year or the year before. Deadlifts, squats, amazing. Like something where you can lift heavy, you can feel good about what you've done, and give yourself that opportunity to feel strong about yourself.